All right, welcome back to another episode of the I-64 Sports Podcast. I got a good one here today. Got a good friend of mine, somebody I've always, I speak to all the time, probably every single day. Virginia University of Lynchburg head coach Bobby Rome. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, man. Thank you. I'll be honest, it's a blessing, an honor to be on your show, man. I'm proud. I'm proud of the platform you created for yourself,
right.
And what you're doing for the kids around the area, the youth around the area. I wish I had that coming up in Norfolk. The way you support Norfolk, the way you develop platforms for young individuals, athletes, man, it's preparing them to be student athletes later on down the road. And I just, I'm glad to be a friend of yours, right, and glad to be on the show. It's an honor. Definitely, man.
Hey,
sure.
Man, listen, that intro, that could have went on a long time. Like, this is somebody I've known a long time. I've seen his growth. I've seen it from high school. We went to high school together, played ball together in high school. Even during college, we spoke in post-college.
Definitely.
I've seen Coach Rome's growth so much, man, and just like you've seen mine. So thank you for joining us. I mean that from the bottom of my heart. Is most sincere, gratitude for having you up here.
Definitely, yeah. The cat's out the bag. Yeah, we're friends, man. We've known each other for a long time.
Like, how they repost each other?
We're friends. We've been knowing each other for a long time. We're great friends. We talk almost every day. Every day. But, at the same time, we do respect each other's work, and, we kind of push each other at the same time. And, I've seen his growth and development throughout, his career, and it's just been tremendous. And I'm blessed and honored to be a friend of his.
All right, before we go too far, man, I know you, I know everything you've done, but just tell the audience, a little bit about Coach Rome.
Well, I would say about Coach Rome, and not the player Bobby Rome, about Coach Rome. I'm the head football coach at Virginia University of Lynchburg. Mm-hmm. Also started and founded college football in Russia. People forgot about that.
Yep. When was that? When did you do that?
I was over in Russia between 2013 and 2016.
Okay.
That's when the idea of starting football in Russia actually started. I decided I wanted to coach ultimately, and I understood that in order to do that, I'm going to have to invest in myself. So I knew my best selling point was myself as an athlete, being a former NFL player, being a former Division I athlete. I knew they didn't have that overseas in Russia. So I decided to go to the biggest country in the world and try to sell football to them, try to sell American football to them.
At the time when you did it, how different was that for someone to be willing to do?
It was very different. It was very different because no one ever done it at my caliber.
Right.
My caliber athlete, no one's done it. And
this is coming straight from, UNC.
Yeah, this is coming from professional football.
Right.
I actually left the UFL, the United Football League, to go overseas and play in Russia.
Right.
And that's like the AAF league. I left that league, to go play overseas in Russia because I had a bigger plan.
Okay.
I just felt like the UFL was, I knew I needed to trend towards coaching. I knew, going overseas was going to be a good way to do it.
Okay.
I knew it was a platform that hasn't been, no one's ever stepped on before, and I wanted to be the person that's, see how far I can go with it.
So at the time, before you went to Russia, was the playing opportunity still there for you?
Yeah, the playing opportunity was there. I got invited by the Moscow Patriots to come over there and play. And immediately when I started playing, I said, I'm going to go to these different cities and do master classes in different cities around Russia.
Right.
So I hopped on the train. I would call the news. I'll get my translator to call the news people in different cities and playing master classes all around the country. And I would do little tours and go to cities and do master classes and kind of develop football in Russia as a culture. And I kind of created a big fan base in Russia that was following me because these people were coming out in the masses trying to learn American football from a professional football player.
What was the popular sport there?
Soccer, of course. They called it football. They called it football.
Right.
So that's why I'm using American football.
Right, okay.
That was the thing. And the only problem that they had in Russia was at the time, Putin didn't like the term American football.
Okay.
So it was kind of getting him past that point to the point where, he sent me all the way across the country to Vladivostok to a school that he built with his own money to develop football.
What was the name of that school?
Far East Federal University.
Okay.
That was my first college head coaching job. And, I don't think even they knew, what I was walking into. They didn't know what they were getting themselves into. They just handed me 2 footballs and said, go. Thank God I was an hour away from Russia, and I was able to hit some of those factories and stuff that was making some of the football equipment and buy it directly out the back of the factory. To get my guys padded up. They was out there in motorcycle gear. I mean, they was out there X-Game gear. They was out.
Rough.
Yeah, it was rough.
And how old were you at the time?
At the time, I was 26 years old, 26, 27. Like, I literally gave up my NFL career, my professional football career to start coaching college football. I was at a point where I said, you know what? If I get into coaching, I'm out to go all the way in. This can't be something. It's not a master class. This isn't something that's, I can just walk away from tomorrow. My football career is going to be over. And what done it for me was I was playing football. I was on my last road trip. And this is actually overseas. I was on my last road trip playing, and this has kind of made the decision definite for me. And I felt like we should have took a train. Just one little decision like that. I didn't feel like we should have been on a bus. I felt like we should have took a train. And I thought if I was the head coach, we would have took a train. Just something that simple. And I was like, hold on, you know what?
26 years old.
Yeah, I was like, you know what? You have an opportunity. Since you think you know everything, you got an opportunity to run your own program. You got invited to do it at Far East Federal University by one of the most powerful men in the world. Go do it. And I went and did it.
And it's not like you hadn't learned from some great coaches. You played under Butch Davis, or Jim Fossil. Who are some of the other coaches?
Man, Mike McCarthy, Mike Tomlin, just to name a few. I would even throw Coach Hudak in there. He's done it. Just the organization, the fact that he's done it for so long, I take little things from him, but the fact that, mentors like Bobby Blizzard, Chris Betty, being around a Butch Davis, who's, being around a Larry Fedora, having access to those guys, their brain, seeing Butch Davis build Miami and then watch him build UNC. When he came to Carolina, I was intrigued by, the work that he's done at Miami. So it was important to me knowing that I wanted to be a coach, knowing that, not just listen to him as a player, but try to figure out why he's doing some of the things he's doing. Why did he come in and kick this guy off the team? Why did he come in with the type of attitude and demeanor that he came in with? And, once you started seeing things turn around, you want to know, why did he hire this coach? Why did he hire that coach? And, you showed us how to build a football program from a coach that's been a part of 2 national championships and 2 Super Bowls, Jimmy Johnson Super Bowl. So you can't get any better than that. That is the top echelon of football. If you say Dallas is one of the best dynasties that ever played, of course, with the Patriots and stuff, but this man is Butch Davis is having lunch with.
Part of all that.
Yeah, he's having lunch with Bill Belichick at the time when we was at Carolina. Those guys were having lunch together. So, I didn't just come out of nowhere. I came from under great coaching. Great coaching that was very transparent. I played for Andre Powell. That was my running back coach. But James Conner, Pittsburgh Steelers. The list goes on. James Conner, who took Le'Veon Bell's spot, ACC Player of the Year. C.J. Speller, James Davis. These are the guys that Coach Powell's coached at the running back position. And then I was blessed enough to play under Kenny Browning, who had the longest tenure of any assistant coach in college football, which he spent over 20. He spent 24 years at Carolina. He coached under Mac Brown, coached under Butch Davis, coached under John Bunnan, and let's not forget John Bunnan, who was a part of a Super Bowl with the Rams. Made the best stop in Super Bowl history. 1 yard from the end zone. So
that's amazing.
Yeah, so I've been around football brains my entire life, and I wasn't ashamed to go. When I came home from Russia, to go visit Chris Betty and pick his brain. I was intrigued by the offense he put in at Lansdowne. I was intrigued by the offense he put in at Hampton.
But is it different looking at that stuff from the view of a coach rather than when you're a player? Because in high school, you're looking at it like, man, I wish I was that quarterback. But as a coach, you're like, okay, well, how does he get his quarterback these looks? How does he get his receivers so open? What is that transition like from a player to a coach?
I think the type of player I was, my father, I was blessed enough with my dad that we watched film every night. We sat down and broke down film. My father was a coach, so we sat down and broke down film every single night. When we watched games, we broke down film. And, you know, that was a part of our bonding thing. That was a part of, like, this is, you know, I had to get off the phone, you know, this is after homework. This is what we do every night.
A good career.
Yeah, this is, you know, we're in the lab every night. So I understood what good coaching was from the beginning. I understood, you know, what a scheme was, you know. I was studying Chris Betty back when he was, you know, when he had Mike Bill at quarterback, you know what I mean, at Salem, you know what I mean? I was intrigued by the numbers they were putting up, and I wanted to know why.
Was it you were intrigued, or was it more, I know I can do better than this, and it's just...
I felt like I could, but at the same time, you know...
Because something tell me you was looking at like, man, I'm doing this over here with this run first offense at Granby. Put me in that Lansdowne. Put me in that Salem offense.
Always.
Let me show you what I can do.
Always. I mean, that's something everybody thinks about that, but then I wouldn't have had a Chris Bell.
That's fact.
You know, I wouldn't have had a Chris Bell. You know, I say this all the time, you know. I give Chris Bell his credit. Like, I don't think I would have been the quarterback I would have been if I didn't have a go-to guy like Chris Bell. You know, he was a tremendous receiver. Right. Not every quarterback in the area was blessed with a 5-star prospect. Right. But I will also ask you this, you know, look at his numbers without me also. Right. You know, it's I had to get the football to him. I got the ball to Kirk Elgray, got the ball to Terrence Meeks. Right. You know, I remember my receivers stayed in first team, second team, all conference, you know, and you know, I would love to throw to a Percy Harvins, a McDaniels, a John, a Gilchrist, you know, all those guys, you know, have a Simmons in the backfield. You know, I would have loved to be a part of that offense, but then there wouldn't have been a Terry Mitchell versus Bobby Rome scrimmage that put me on the map when I did ball out against him. You know what I mean? It wouldn't have been that big time battle that took place, you know, so. You know, I'm thankful for the opportunity.
That's tough, though, man. It was some big-time QBs, high school-wise, during your days at Granby. So let's go back to your actual playing days at Granby. What years were you at Granby?
Man. 01 to say 04, I think.
Yeah, 01, 04. You actually came there during my sophomore year.
Right, and I was starting quarterback on JV as an 8th grader at Lafayette Middle School.
Started basketball at 8th grade too.
Yeah, I started basketball at 8th grade too. Started baseball at 8th grade too at JV.
Right. It's first phenom.
Yeah.
That's the first phenom.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think the thing, like, even back then, we always knew you was very mature, man. You was a leader even back then. So I don't think it's a surprise to anybody to see like where you're at now, but you were definitely ahead of your time. Because I remember something I seen, you know, a while back when they actually followed you in high school as a quarterback.
Yeah, when
just talk a little bit about that. How was that experience?
Man, my wife, she talks about this all the time. She just thinks that it's mind blowing to think back when we was in high school when technology wasn't the thing. Right. You know, I actually had a camera crew and you know, I was mic'd up going around school. Right. You know, for a documentary. You know what I mean?
And this was what year?
This is back in 2003.
About sophomore
my junior year. This is my junior year. Talk back in 2003. Okay. You know, and I would say then at the time I didn't know. You know, I didn't care. Right. You know, I'm a high school kid. I just didn't care. You know,
and it was still like fairly new. You didn't have a lot of
exactly. And at the time, to be honest, my goals were so high, man, and that's because I idolized guys like Dexter Reed and Ronald Curry and stuff like that, and Bobby Blizzard. You know, I looked up to those type of football players in the area and stuff. So, you know, Kevin Fuller, you can't forget about guys from Norfolk and stuff like that. But I looked up to those guys. So, you know, I always thought like what I was doing wasn't even close, wasn't even enough, wasn't even close to what they were doing.
So why would somebody want to follow you around?
Bingo, you know. So I just thought, well, you know, I'm not the story. You know, I always never thought I was the main story. You know, I'm like, why didn't they follow Levi Brown around? You know, I was always asking those type of questions.
Gotcha. So they followed you around. Was it unique for you, or you like did your team? How would your teammates react to stuff like that?
Man, they would make little jokes and stuff like that. You know, just say, you know, they the ones started that try to treat me. They the one made me humble, to be honest with you, just because they will always try to say I was a celebrity and stuff like that. But you know, we'll go to CC's every Thursday before the game or whatnot. And we'll be at CC's and then we'll have kids that actually come up and ask for an autograph. You know what I mean? With their parents or whatnot while we're at CC's.
That's crazy, though.
And, you know, the players are just, my teammates will go crazy. But, you know, my dad was very good at telling me, you know, you don't want your paradise too soon, son. You don't want your paradise too soon. And what he meant by that is that's interesting. Yeah, what he meant by that is like, you know, never get too high on your high. Never get too high and think like you made it. Even now as a head coach, a young head coach, I've always think I can do so much more, and I don't want to have my paradise now. I'm too young.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Right now, I don't want my paradise.
Yeah.
I didn't have my paradise when I got a chance to opportunity with Green Bay. I didn't have my paradise when I got to Chapel Hill, so
right.
I think him and my teammates, they've all kept me humble. That environment.
At what point did you start to pay attention, if at all, did you start to pay attention to the articles, the recruiting rankings, stuff like that?
I think when I found out about the internet, I wasn't never on the internet like
That's
that.
That's crazy when you say you found out about the internet.
Yeah, like I wasn't on the internet like that. And one of my teammates came up to me and said, "Hey man, I spent all day Googling you." I'm like, "What? What are you talking about?"
That's crazy.
Yeah, so I said, let me Google, let me try this out. And I Googled and I like, whoa, I was kind of shocked because like I felt like they didn't ask me for this information. I was like, why?
You remember the first article, like the very first article?
Yeah, I do remember the very first article I thought I had was the article by Tucker. Cal Tucker and the Virginia Pilot, and
Kentucky now.
I'll be honest, it's funny. I think it was one of his first articles.
That's crazy because Cal Tucker's with Athletic now. I think he's with Athletic.
It was legendary. It was a legendary article. That thing went to USA Today.
Wow.
And I think it was one of his first articles. I think he wanted to knock it out the park. And it was at the time where, Ronald Curry, Michael Vick, Aaron Brooks just came from the area.
Yeah.
So I was supposed to be this next big quarterback recruiting jewel from our area. You know what I mean? And he just took it to the next level. I don't even think I was, to be honest,
crazy.
I don't think I was on that. I don't think I was on that level. Yeah. But at the same time, I think, it helped me. It helped me tremendously, because they wasn't writing articles on athletes at that time. And I remember my freshman year, after my first game, Larry Bummer comes up to me. He's like, "Hey, you remind me of Ronald Curry." And I'm like, "Good, I'm on the right path."
Right. But and Ronald Curry was like, that was like somebody you looked up to.
Oh man, my father would take me to his games, when I was 9 and 10 years old, and even games where we couldn't afford to get in that particular day or whatever, man, we'll be out in the parking lot just listening to the game, in the parking lot and stuff, to the announcer and stuff. And, and that stuff matters, man. Like that little stuff matters. Like I end up at North Carolina. I end up, chasing. I end up chasing. Ronald Curry's the coach for the Saints. And one of my best friends right now is Bobby Blizzard.
Yep.
You know what I mean? He with the AAF. He was Johnny Manziel's offensive coordinator.
Right, that's right.
You know what I mean? Bobby's had top 5 offenses in the NCAA for the past 5 years. As an offensive coordinator at Belhaven, under, Al Humi, who everyone's going crazy over in the NFL.
Right.
That's why Castleberry has the job with the Cardinals. And Bobby is his protege.
Right, the air raid offense.
The air raid offense. This guy invented him. He taught Bobby he recruited Bobby to Kentucky.
Yeah.
And taught Bobby the offense, and Bobby's been under him since he left Kentucky.
Gotcha.
So he's actually knows everything about the air raid, and that's why he was blessed enough with the opportunity to coach in the AAF league with, Mike Singletary.
That's crazy. So how did you end up at UNC?
Well,
let's talk about that because, like you said, you wasn't into a lot of the articles and stuff then. But I just remember during the time at Grammy when Levi was there.
Right.
You had Frank Beamer coming in the cafeteria every day.
Right.
Of course, Penn State. That was the thing back then. Dexter Reed went to Penn State. Well, I'm sorry, Dexter Reed didn't go to Penn State. Anthony King went to Penn State.
Right.
But that was the thing back then. Was it was Penn State, Virginia Tech, UNC was
balling. Right. So here's a funny story. We were playing Great Bridge, and all these scouts were there to see Carlton Powell.
Okay.
All right.
Carlton Powell.
I'm a sophomore. Defensive tackle. He played defensive tackle at Virginia Tech.
Okay.
I'm a sophomore, 15 years old. I'm sitting there thinking like, man, this guy's got, he got all these articles and stuff. I'm thinking like, man, it's going to be some scouts at this game.
Right.
My dad told me the game, he said, if you want to get on the map, you do something this game right here.
That's right.
That's what he told me, So I go out there and I had the best game of my life. I had the best game of my life. And Coach Brown and my running back coach, that was at UNC, he walks up to my father after the game with the program. And he said, I just want to make sure this is right. Is he a sophomore? And my dad said, yeah. He said, I'm going to offer this kid right now.
That's crazy.
You know, I want to offer this kid right now.
That was your first offer.
Yeah. He said, I don't know if I have the, see, back then these kids would have ran and put it on Twitter and stuff that.
So, I mean, soon as,
but my dad is so hard, man. He's so hard on things. Like, it's like, it don't count to us in writing. Like, he's so, like, I had all these offers, like, you know, these same offers everyone else had, you know. Yeah, you're offered. You know what I mean? I've been offered for Penn State since my 8th grade year.
So these are verbal
offers, if that's the case. You know what I mean?
Okay.
But my father is so hard on, if it ain't right, it ain't nothing. Okay. You know what I mean?
Right.
And like, so that offer never meant anything to me. You know what I mean? That offer was just a conversation that we just had.
Right.
And I knew I can get an offer if I knew I had one there. So it got to a point where, you know, me and my dad, we was on the internet, we started looking at these rankings.
Okay.
And we started looking at these camps, and these coaches were inviting these kids to these camps. Mm-hmm. And it got to a point where my dad was like, you want to be better than those guys. You want to be the best.
Right.
You go compete with these guys at camp.
Right.
You know, you get out there and you compete with these guys at camp.
So you remember the first like big camp you went to?
The first big camp I went to was, of course, I've been to Penn State camp since the 8th grade.
Everybody in Hampton Roads in the Penn State
camp. But the thing is, my dad actually coached at the camp.
Gotcha. Okay.
You know, my dad was actually paid to coach at the camp.
Okay, cool.
He knew, you know, Jay Paterno, and that's because Coach Hudak, my dad and Coach Hudak, my dad was Hudak's coach, and they also went to Catholic together.
Gotcha. Okay.
So they have a great relationship. So he got my dad in there over at Penn State, and the relationships that my dad built over there. So when I got there, Jay Paterno knew who I was. Mm-hmm. You know, Joe Paterno knew who I was. Right. You know,
as an 8th grader.
Yeah, like all these guys, you know, Bill Kennedy, all these guys knew who I was. Mm-hmm. You know, prior to, you know, as an 8th, 9th grader, you know, I was the example kid at camp. You know, I was always the example kid at camp. You know, and what I would do is whoever Penn State was bringing in the offer, I'm his competition. Right. You know, from 8th grade to my senior year. Okay. I wanted to be his competition that summer. Right. You know.
Because you figure that's how you can make your mark.
Bingo.
Kind of like taking out a top dog, then I come top dog.
Bingo.
Yeah.
Bingo. And what was intriguing about Penn State was, you know, Michael Robinson was a quarterback.
Oh, man.
You know, big quarterback that was there.
And, from here, from Verona anyway.
Of course, yeah. So, you know, that was intriguing. And, you know, but cause my dad got this thing where you're going to camp. You're going to get out there and camp and bust it out in the camps. Yeah. And, you know, so Shelton Johnson was being recruited by UNC also. So I said, I'm going to go down there.
Right.
Also, and, you know, I'm going to do the camp too.
Right.
Went down there, started throwing. That's when I met Coach Tranquil.
Okay.
And Coach Tranquil told me, Coach Tranquil was like 5'7". He's a quarterback coach. And he told me, he said, hey, I got a quarterback on my roster right now that beat out the #1 player in the country. I heard he's your idol. And you know, and I gave him a shot.
Right. Yeah.
You're going to need the same opportunity, kid. I know Ronald Curry's your idol, but you better learn to love Darren Durant.
I was talking about Darren Durant.
I was like,
yeah, Darren Durant was amazing.
And I was like, I don't think he understood how bad that hurt at the time. You know what I mean? It hurt. It was a big blow. It was a big blow.
Until you seen Darren Durant play.
Yeah, until I seen Darren Durant play.
Because Darren Durant
he was amazing until I seen him play.
Yeah, he was nice.
And then guess what? I asked, can I get number 4?
No, that's funny. That's funny. So your college, who did it come down to?
When it came down to it, you know, I was looking at fit. My dad had me programmed to fit, you know, by then, you know, what's the best fit for me, you know, and he said, you want to play quarterback? Let's look for fits. You know, Kent State.
Okay.
I was looking at, they had Julian, and guess who they had? Julian Edelman at quarterback. Right. You know what I mean?
That's crazy.
Looking at Kent State, they told me they're going to throw the ball 40 times a game and run me, you know, 15 to 10 times a game. I'm like, man.
Dual threat, that sounds good.
I wanted that opportunity, you know. I also looked at, you know, Virginia Tech, of course. You know, they were definitely in the race, you know, but they had Marcus Vick there.
Right.
I also considered, of course, North Carolina was also always up top. Penn State, they were always there because I spent so much time there.
Okay. What about NC State?
Yeah, never.
Right.
Never. And not because I'm a Carolina guy now. It was something about, you know, they just didn't like short quarterbacks.
Yeah. Was this before Russell Wilson?
It was before Russell Wilson. I actually hosted Russell Wilson on his visit to Carolina.
Yeah. What did you think about him back then?
I loved Russell.
You thought he was going to be what he was now?
This was after I got switched to a position, running back. Russell came I just told my wife this story. Russell came to Carolina. He wanted to be a quarterback. Yeah. We had Mike Paulus that was also somebody that we was looking at very hard. And I told Russell, you could be you could play quarterback, man. Yeah. I seen your film.
Yeah.
You know, he was doing so many rollouts. He was so accurate. I'm like, dude, like you could really play quarterback. Like you're way better than I was. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like you can really do this. You know, and he was at a little private school, you know, so in Richmond at the time. And I was like, I thought, like Russell can really do this. And, you know, and I think it's funny. I think he went to NC State just because North Carolina didn't want him. Yeah. Didn't want his commitment because we wanted Paulus. And when I tell you I was telling anybody who wanted to listen that Russell Wilson was the best quarterback I ever seen. And this is when we got in college because the way he was sticking it to us, you know, at NC State, you know, and on top of that,
they let him go.
People's crazy to think like this guy was first team all ACC his freshman, sophomore, and junior year. Like he was first team all ACC.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Yeah, people don't want to sleep though. You got Tyrod Taylor in that conference.
Yeah.
You got a TJ Yates in those conferences. These are guys that played in the NFL for a long time. Right. You know, and guess what? You had Matt Ryan in that conference.
Yep.
You know, you got a lot of NFL quarterbacks that came out of the ACC during that time. Right. That, you know, that this guy was flat out better than.
Yeah, that's
he was
a fact.
First team all ACC, and the NC State had this kid returning punts his first game.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
And he wasn't even a full-time football player.
Could you ever imagine Baker Mayfield returning punts? I don't care. Look, and the crazy thing, I don't care how athletic a white quarterback usually is. You're never going to see them. 9 times out of 10, you're never going to see them returning kicks,
never
switching to wide receiver, with the exception of Julian Edelman. And Eric Crouch back in the day tried to do it.
Yeah, Julian.
That just never is an option for a white quarterback.
It's not. But I would say this though. Not all on playing can play be drafted as a baseball player too. Russell was special, man. Like let's not. He's special, man. Like you know, he runs the 4.53 electronic time. You know what I mean? He's 215. Yeah. You know, built in stature. Like he's a special type. He's a special guy.
Was that the best quarterback you saw during your time in college?
In college, yeah.
Yeah.
You know, when I got in, Aaron Rodgers.
I mean, yeah.
Just watching talent like Aaron Rodgers throw the football. Right. You know, you learn there's levels to this thing. And like I said, I haven't seen Russell throw in the pros in person. You know what I mean? But I've seen Aaron Rodgers spin that thing.
Right, gotcha. Yeah. You were at UNC during the scandal, when the scandal situation happened.
Right.
How did that, well, I know it affected you guys, I think your senior year, you had a lot of suspensions, but like eternally, how did it affect the program?
Well, I would say it kept us from winning a national championship. I'm just going to be straight out honest. Anybody that doesn't believe that, you know.
I mean, for those that don't believe it, just run down some of the guys that won that roster.
How about this? Just look at the LSU game. Right. When we had to suspend over 20-something players.
Robert Quinn.
Yeah, and we still. Right. We took LSU, you know, Honey Badger, Patrick Peterson to the max.
It was at LSU.
It was that, you know, yeah. So I mean, you know, we took them to the brink. You know what I mean? They were one of the top teams in the country.
Right. So you guys are missing what? Robert Quinn.
Man, we're missing Bruce Carter, Quan Sturdivant. You know, man, we're missing the best secondary in college football, hands down. You know, we're missing the best defensive line in college football, hands down. The best linebacker core for college football, hands down. Zach Brown didn't even start on our defense. He was a backup linebacker to Bruce Carter and Quan Sturdivant.
Starting middle linebacker for the Skins now?
Yeah, he was a starting linebacker. Yeah, he wasn't even a starter. You know what I mean? Right. That's how good we were.
Talk about linebackers running what 4.4,
4.4s, man. Like
yeah.
You know, I was blessed enough to block against those guys every day in practice. Right. You know, I was, you know, I got a chance, you know, and they were babies when they came in. You know, I was the older guy, you know, so I got to chew them up and spit them out. You know what I mean? But at the same time, you know, iron sharpens iron. Right. You know, you're practicing against a Bruce Carter, a Zach Brown, a Quan Sturdivant every day. You know, that's going to make you the best fullback in the country.
Was there any like hints of that? Like before it happened, was there any hints? Like, did you hear any rumors, like anything, or just all hit at one time?
It kind of all just kind of hit at one time. You know, it kind of all just hit at one time. You know, you start seeing, and that just comes with success. You know, and you know, you start seeing guys. you used to start seeing things that just kind of changing. You know what I mean? Let's be real. You know, you start seeing, cars, and you seeing guys driving different things.
Right.
You just start seeing things different. You know what I mean?
Right.
Things are different. But of course, I would say Kentuan Balmer, my assistant head coach, he was a big part of changing that culture just because he was the first to go in the first round.
Okay.
He was our first guy to go in the first round and showed us that it was actually possible.
Right.
To our era. You know what I mean?
Right.
And they kind of followed by a lot of other guys after that.
Yeah, that's good though. How would you compare playing, not to get too much into the UNC experience, but how would you compare playing, under Coach Bunning, under Coach Davis? What was the biggest difference?
Well, I would say Coach Bunning was more of a coach. He was very strong on discipline, you know what I mean? Yeah. And very strong on character, which is something that I take from him. Okay. I respect tremendously from him.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
He put a solid product on the field. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Butch Davis, Jimmy Johnson. He's from that tree. Mm-hmm. He just had that swag, that aura about him, and he knew exactly what he was doing.
Right.
And he knew, and whatever Butch Davis won, he got. Okay. You know what I mean? I can't say, I don't know if Bunning got that at Carolina.
Right.
Butch Davis kind of demanded that.
Do you think that Miami, because Miami, then you got the Dallas Cowboys. So
right.
Anything after that, what can you say to me?
No, bingo.
Right.
And he's still doing it now. He done turned around Florida Atlantic, Florida International. He done turned them around. Right. He done turned that around in a heartbeat.
Right.
That's just what Butch do. Butch. Right. And I would say, the way Butch speaks in the play, like Butch he got with me. Butch does funny things, man. I would say, the first team meeting, under Coach Davis, he walks in and he just puts a shock into everybody. The starting running back jumps up and goes, shakes his hand. He tells the starting running back, sit your ass down. Everybody,
first
my God. Everybody was like, oh my God. So he told everybody, he said, sit the fuck up. Everybody. Yeah. So we sat up in our chairs and we were like, oh my God, what is going on? You know what I mean? And, and he said straight up, if you guys plan on going to the Monarchy Cargill Bowl, get the F out now. Mm-hmm. You in the wrong damn place. I win national championships here.
Facts. Yeah.
And it was just that mentality right there.
Right.
And he straight up told us, like, if you can't get up to my national championship level, I'm going to find guys to replace you.
Yeah.
He said, you see, when I got here, I signed a 5-year contract. See, you signed a 1-year deal. Let me explain to you guys how that go. Yeah. That's exactly what he told us.
For prospects that listening right now.
This is what he told us straight up, man. He said, scholarships are 1 year renewed.
Right.
At the end of the year, you will be evaluated to see that you earned your scholarship.
Right.
If you did not earn your scholarship, it will be taken away from you.
And it is
point blank simple.
Right.
And when I tell you it started from that day, you were evaluated about everything you did from that point on. And the next day I got off the elevator, there was a 9-foot picture of Butch Davis, like right there staring at the elevator, just looking at you like, and you knew then, like, this was his shot.
So it was different. Like, it was
man,
different.
he demoted the head cook. And
he demote the head cook.
Oh my God! Like he just came in and just put fear in everybody. He took the secretary. He took Coach Bunning's secretary and moved her downstairs to the lobby. Right. Like we walk in, we see she got demoted. We were like, oh my God!
So it was real. Like
everybody was like, everybody was on eggshells, man. Like coaches, I never seen coaches, like on eggshells the way they were around. Like even. Like the way they were coaching us, it was like, you need to get this, because it's gonna show up on film and he's gonna get us if you don't,
Right.
He was so demanding.
So that sense of urgency was for everybody.
It was everywhere.
Yeah,
it was everywhere, man. And I mean, even down to the administration. Yeah. He put the sense of urgency in everybody on that campus.
Right. But so that first year Butch Davis took over, what was y'all record?
That's the crazy thing. We only won one more game than we won the year prior.
Yeah.
But the energy he brought to that program and the fact that he had Marvin Austin coming, the #1 player in the country.
Like,
he had the #1. And I mean, that was a big deal to Carolina. We didn't know how big of a deal it was to our spring game. This guy was signing autographs at our spring game. His line was wrapped around our stadium while our game was going on.
And this is a high school recruit.
This is a high school recruit. Like, the fans are out of the stands in a line getting his autograph.
Right.
And I knew then, they had a table set up for him and everything. I knew then that things were different. I like, wow. So we're going to have to get used to dealing with these star recruits, because they're just coming. Yeah. You know, and when they came in, they were very, I would say, flamboyant, but they worked very hard. You know, they were very over the top. You know what I mean? You know, they would.
But when you look at how things turned out after that,
that's why I said that.
Is there a sense of regret in signing? So it's not
even
with the scandal that came along.
No, because of the scandal, like, you know, I would say the scandal wasn't in Butch's control.
Right.
You know, he had no idea that, you know, he had a coach that he trusted very much that was, you know, involved in a scandal.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, he had no idea that, you know what I mean? Butch just ran a solid program. I mean, Butch taught me how to get to this point I'm at right now. You know, he stopped me on the elevator and told me, man, you know, you can be the best fullback in the country. I never heard that to that point.
Right.
You know what I mean? Keep in mind, I started the year prior to that under Bunny. Right. And I never heard that. I never heard anybody tell me I could be the best in the world or something. You know what I mean? Like, that was different. His mind of thinking was different. Right. So I can only imagine how many guys he killed. Because let's look at the rankings at the time of our prospects. You know, he had to go up to them and tell them the same exact thing. Right. You know, when he told my one of my good friends, Kentuan, you know, my assistant head coach, he told him, you could be the best D tackle in this draft. And damn if he wasn't, he got drafted first round. Right. You know, he spoke those things into us, you know, and he made us believe it. Like, he made us truly believe that we can be exactly who we thought we can believe. Right. Now, my whole thing, you know, I think where I'm different at is I'm going to take it a little farther than football. You know what I mean? If you got that much mind control of a young man like that, you know, let's take it a little farther than football. Right. Where I think you can do whatever you want in life, not just on the football field, but in life in general. Right. You know, and I had a father, and I needed to hear that. You know what I mean? Right. Here's the thing. There's a lot of young black men that don't have fathers. Bingo. They need to hear that more often. So they kind of drove me to say, you know, I want to be a head coach. I want to be the guy that's speaking these things into these young men every single day. And not only that, telling them what they need. You know, I'm not going to just tell them, hey, you know, my biggest mistake, you know, when I was going through this process, trying to get to the NFL, trying to will my way, because I had the talent, you know, I had the coaching tree, I had everything, you know, I didn't have God. Right. You know, I thought I did not. And like I said, I tried to do it on my own. You know what I mean? And part of that, just understanding, trusting in the athletic ability that he blessed you with, and not thinking you got to will your way through things. You know what I mean? Just trusting your athletic ability. I think it's some of my bigger moments that I needed to perform my best. I may be tensed up because I had the weight of the city on my back. I felt like I had the weight of the city on my back. Right. Felt like I had the weight of my family. Right. All I needed was trusting God, trusting my ability. You were anxious. Yeah, I know. All I needed was trusting my ability and trusting what He blessed me with. Right. You understand what I'm saying? Right. And I think a lot of our young youth need to hear that more often. Right. You know, we hear a lot of these stories about how a lot of these guys will their way through things, but they seem like they're scared to say, you know, you trust in your ability. That's you trust in the God-given ability.
That's when the real you shines. Is that when you just naturally allow yourself to, you know, do what you do.
And I let him lead this thing I'm doing with coaching. Yeah. You know, I allow my God-given talent to shine through, and that's why it does look so easy. That's why, you know, you have a legendary coach like a Coach Bailey. You have a legendary coach like a Joe. You know what I mean? Yeah. Come through there and couldn't win at VUL. Right. You know what I mean? I'm doing things a little different. Right. You know what I mean? Now, I would say I admire the programs that Coach Bailey ran, because Coach Bailey's ran some very traditionally strong programs. Right. And he was some tough, and he's been a father figure in those guys' life. And those are things I've done my research, and those are things I take from those guys like Joe Taylor and stuff like that. Hampton, you know, I take things from those father figure roles. I take that from those legendary coaches, and I try to implement that into what I'm doing. And that's why it's kind of easy, because I'm doing something a little different. You know what I mean? I guess what? I'm going to tell my guys, shoot for the stars. I'm going to go ahead, shoot for the NFL. I'm going to give you all the resources possible to get there. You know, I'm going to give you the bowl game. Right. I'm going to give you everything. I'm going to use my platform to get you there. But here's the thing. Whenever you fall short, understand I am talking to sheriff departments, law enforcement departments. I am talking to other people about internships. I do have a wife that's a branch manager at a deco that works with resume building, interview prepping, and stuff like that.
Right.
I care about the type of father and type of man you're going to be to your family, the type of man you're going to be overall to your community.
I mean, it's deeper than football.
Definitely
You're not going to be a football player
man.
your whole life.
I'm sitting there at Carolina and I'm sitting there thinking like, man, there's a lot of African-American young men in here.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And that's on a great big platform. You know, man, we need more mentorship as far as being leaders and fathers.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
You know what I mean? Being leaders and fathers. You know what I mean?
Because what happened to those guys when the scholarships run out?
Bingo.
When those 4 years, 5 years run out, what happened to those guys? I'm going to tell you,
some of them do get their degree, and guess what? They still end up coming to see me as a branch manager at the Stafford firm because they don't know how to put together a resume. They don't know how to go up there. And they don't know how to sell themselves to the employee. They don't know how to go out there and get a job and earn a job. You know, they don't know how to invest in themselves and say, you know what, you're going to have to work for free because they never seen that the rest of the university was doing that. You know, and those are the things I'm not afraid to tell my student athletes that you're going to have to work twice as hard as a regular student, because the truth is this, you know, of course you're going to have your football career. If that doesn't work out, this person that's been working just as hard as you've been working on your football career, been working on their career.
They got a head start on you.
Yeah, they got a head start on you. But guess what? You better be that same exact dog. And that's the type of dogs I'm creating at VUL. You know, to understand we're gonna attack this job market. You know, whether it's playing professional football or whether it's being an entrepreneur or whether it's going out there and, you know, being prepared. Because our guys are going to know how to sell themselves to employers. You know, they're going to understand what it feels like to be, you know, in front of an employer. Because you know what? I talk about these things daily. I talk about them being men leading households daily, because the truth is, if I can't trust you to be where you need to be in cover 3, I'll be damned if I choose to marry you as a woman. If I can't trust you to be there for the mortgage and stuff like that. Like that stuff goes hand in hand.
Right. So what made you, at the time you took the VUL job, I know you had a lot of interest, you know, had interest from other schools, you know, probably bigger schools at that. What made you take the VUL job?
I think sometimes it's the calling, it's the ministry. You know what I mean? It's where you need to be at.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know what I mean? Yeah. I was interviewing for a few other opportunities and I kind of shut those down, you know, because I seen the potential in that campus. Right. Our campuses, we got the smallest campus in the country. We only got 3 buildings, but the love and the punch that we pack, the love that we show in that campus, it's a family atmosphere. There's a need for that. You know, some campuses is just too big. Why can't a young man go to school, you know, go to a small class environment, you know what I mean, and play big time football at the same time? Right. Why can't he have the same opportunities to perform in a pro day at an FBS program, play in the Senior Bowl, like all the bigger schools? Right. He can do that at VUL. Right. I can create that. I created those resources prior to coming to VUL for my student athletes. So those resources are going to go with me wherever I go. But I knew VUL would be the perfect place because those kids needed it. That's where the calling was at.
So what did you think your biggest accomplishment was your first year? You think it came on the field, off the field?
Off the field. 100% off the field. Right. As many games, the games we won were great. They were tremendous.
And we're talking about a program that
was over 44 years. Over 44.
Right.
Just them being able to understand they went through so many different coaches in this program. Right. Them being able to earn my trust. You know, them being able to earn my trust and understand and be able to trust that I had their best interest even before I took this job at VUL. Right. I went out there and coached in these bowl games for free to make sure I'm able to get these guys in the bowl game when they need it. Right. You know, that trust, the trust that somebody invested in you before he even got there. Right. You know, that was important to me. I think that's a win. That's a win to know they can trust somebody that looks like them. They can, and guess what? They can become me. Bingo. And guess what? We got a lot of guys out there on my team right now that think they can do what I done. They think they can do what Coach Balmer's done. They think they can do what Coach Matthews done. We preach. Coach Matthews has 2 masters. You know what I mean? Coach, he has 2 masters, you know. Right.
That's your recruiting
coordinator, compliance director, you know what I mean? Right. And and we preach that to these young men. You can do this. Right. Right. You can go out there. This is feasible. Right. This is not something that you can do. You can do this. Because you know what? As soon as you walk out these doors with that degree, guess what? That's when real world starts. And I want to make sure you're prepared for that game more than you're prepared for the games on Saturday. Because those games are going to come and go. Yeah. You know what I mean? I want you ready for the game.
Real life.
That's that real game.
Years,
that's that real. That game don't let up there, boy.
Right.
That game going to keep coming. It's going to keep coming. It's going to keep coming.
Right.
And, you know, you guys are becoming fathers younger and younger and younger.
Right.
So, you know, I want to make sure that we're prepared, man. That's our generation, man. Yeah. That's our community. You know what I mean? And, you know, I could have became a high school head coach, you know what I mean? But I understood the need is at college, man. The need is in college. It is in college. And it is in college. You know, a lot of our African-American student athletes, you know, playing football, you know, they're going to these, you know, bigger schools, and they need to see more men like myself.
One thing I've heard a lot, just talking to the guys that transfer back, and they've always said they get lost in the culture. You know, the culture, the PWI just doesn't fit them. I had one kid, I won't say his name, but he came back from Coastal Carolina.
Right.
And he's at a HBCU now, at the MEAC school. He was just like, he just couldn't stand the culture at Coastal Carolina. It just wasn't for him. He kind of felt like in the middle, you know. So let's talk about, how does your fast track program, because I know you guys at VUL had the fast track program, how does that help you guys out?
Well, I would say, you know, I go back to my experience as a student athlete.
Okay.
You know, I had a first session of summer school at Carolina where I was able to, you know, take some classes, you know, start off with a 4.0 GPA.
Okay.
Earn some credit hours going into the fall.
So this was summer school?
Yeah, going into field summer school.
Okay.
Now, had I failed them classes, that would have been live bullets I actually took and would have went on my GPA.
Okay.
What the fast track program is, you know what I mean? It's basically a 2-week program where it gets our student athletes and just regular students on campus. It gets them acclimated to college campus.
Okay.
Get them acclimated to being a college student. We like to host our mini camps during that time and get our student athletes used to being student athletes. Okay. They're going to go to class. They're going to go to practice. They're going to go to weightlifting. You know, they're going to do those little things for 2 weeks, and they're going to earn 10 credit hours.
Nice.
And then once that's done, they can go home and then they say, okay, Mom, you know what? I wasn't ready for college yet. You know what I mean? But here's what I need. Now I'm going to be ready when I come back. Those bullets are live. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I think it's very important, especially for a young football player who's going into the fall semester. You're going to be doing stuff you've never done in your life. Right. You know, you're going to be going to practice. You're going to be
washing your clothes for the first time.
Yeah.
Cooking for your, you know, you never know.
That stuff is important. And, you know, you want them to get out to the best foot possible. Why not do it in our fast track program?
I remember sorry not to cut you off, but I remember my first night in college, and I had to wash my clothes a couple of days later.
Right.
I called my mom, was like, why colored stuff got on my white stuff? She was like, why you put them all in the wash machine at the same time? Because I thought you did. I was mad at her for stuff I didn't know how to do. So I think when you talk about stuff like the fast track program and just being able to start a little bit early, I think that really helps.
And the good thing about it gets you directly after you graduate from high school.
Okay.
So you just got 2 more weeks after you graduate of school. You're going to earn some credit out. Then you go home and enjoy the rest of your summer vacation.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And, you know, now you know what college is about, and now you're ready. You know, I think that's very important. We offer that at VUL. These 10 credit hours can go anywhere else in the country. So I would say any student out there that's getting ready to go to college, any student, I don't care where you're going, you should want to take advantage of this opportunity. It's not summer school. It's literally an opportunity to get acclimated to being a college student on campus for 2 weeks, and then figuring out what kind of adjustments you need to make before those loans kick in the fall.
Right.
As a student, I will hope you want to put yourself in the best situation possible. Right. We offer that at VUL.
Okay.
And if you need any information, I would say email brome, that's BROME, at VUL.edu.
Yeah, make sure you get it, because that's great. That's great.
That's simple.
If you can get in college, immerse yourself in the college culture as early as you can.
As early as possible.
Like I said, you don't want to be like me, and you get up there and you're like, you don't know what to do, and I didn't know how to cook.
Bingo.
I couldn't drive my first year. So yeah,
just experiencing the dormitory, just having your experience in a dormitory, that matters.
Right. What did you learn about yourself? What did you learn about yourself transitioning from a player to the coach? Because you've always taken the road less traveled.
Right.
So what's the biggest thing you learned about yourself?
I learned that with me and God and a strong support system, I'm enough.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? I don't need validation from everybody.
Right.
You know what I mean? I didn't need this coach to put me on. You know, I didn't need to travel to the coaching clinics and stuff like that that a lot of guys feel like they need to do. Now some do. No disrespect. Some do, to each his own, I just felt like I had a different calling. I just had a different calling. It's made it easy. The transition's been easy. When it's there, when it's for you, it's for you.
Right.
Nobody can do nothing about that. When it's for you, it's for you. That's why I feel like I'm so comfortable in this position. When it's for you, it's for you.
When you get to a place like Russia where you don't know anybody, you need a translator just to do interviews.
Right.
Do you learn how to work with less resources?
Oh, all the time, because we always work with less resources over there, because they just didn't understand.
Right.
If you think, your program, you think your administration don't understand, imagine people that never dealt with the sport at all.
Imagine people that don't know how to put on the equipment. Imagine people that don't even know what the equipment is.
Yes, exactly. So you can only imagine,
right.
the type of, stress and pressure that you're under trying to stretch resources. But it made me prepare myself for my next opportunity to say, okay, I'm going to create these resources for myself. So when my opportunity comes, I can run with it.
When you step into a situation like this, you won't be shell shocked or you won't be still trying to do the same stuff other people have done. You know how to push the envelope.
Right. And I've done that, like I said, and there's been people, that's been very helpful along the way that lend their platform, like a East Preps. You know what I mean? That allow me to come out there and coach. You know what I mean? Coach those
what about the
Tropicana
Bowl?
That's East Preps. The Tropic Bowl allow me to come and coach in the Tropic Bowl and stuff like that, and allow me just to expand as a coach. It's one thing that allowed me to be there, but the way they allowed me to, to be me, what I mean? Be Coach Rome, go out there and, coach these kids and give them the gems and let them know, this opportunities don't last forever. This is going to be the most selfish time of your life.
Yeah.
Because you only got one shot at this thing. You know what I mean? And, me allowing me to do that, I think is, I'm thankful for that. There's people that did give me a platform also.
Yeah. And how do you think that's benefited your students, your student athletes, excuse me?
Man, I would say it benefited them tremendously, man. We got 14 student athletes graduate. We got 14 football players graduating, graduating this May. We had 6 last year.
Right.
Prior to me arriving, we had 6 total football players graduate since 2011.
Wow.
I might have 20 in the first 2 years I'm there.
Man, that's nice.
I push graduation, man. I push it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna show up to your class. I'm not afraid to be the class checker, man. That's to me, that's not for the bottom of the staff. That's not for that's not for the last guy on your staff. That's not for, the volunteer guy. That's for the head man. If it's important to you, you're gonna be there. So I put my head in that classroom. They understand if it's important to me, it's gonna be important to them.
Yeah. So what's your recruiting philosophy?
I want kids that want to be at VUL.
Yeah.
It's that simple. I'm not going to beg you to come to VUL. I want kids that want to be at VUL. My recruiting philosophy is simple. I've already invested in you guys. You see it in the work. You see it in my student athletes. When you look at when you look at, the landscape of FCS programs around the country, just look at it. How many of those kids got in the pro days?
Yeah.
My kids got in the pro days.
Yeah.
It's important to me. How many coaches right now on their platform right now are talking about kids that's currently on their roster and not about who they're signing? A lot of guys are talking about kids that they're signing. Yeah. I'm talking about the kids on my roster because they're important. I got to finish them out first. Right. I got to make sure they graduate. I got to make sure that I get them off to a great start in life. You know what I mean? Right. I got other coaches handling recruiting and stuff like that. Yeah. That's fine. Well, me, I'm responsible for these guys as far as the type of man they're going to be. The type of man they're going to be to their wife. What I mean? The type of father they're going to be to their kids. The type of man they're going to be in their community. So, I can't let them go off on their own. I'm going to mentor them through this draft process and trying to get to the NFL. And guess what? Interview prep, resume builder. Prepare you for the other part too. Yeah. I'm talking to law enforcement departments and stuff like that. And the thing is, people can shun their face at me saying law enforcement. Look, I'm trying to put us in positions to be able to control our community where an incident don't happen that happened to my student athletes where I had 4 football players pulled over because, a broken tail light and handcuffed. Right. I'm trying
not familiar. There's no relationship.
There's no relationship. So guess what? I'm going to put my guys in position to be, the police chief. Yeah. To be in those positions. Because guess what? Look around, man. Like, we got, women that's becoming mayors and stuff like that,
Right,
man. Like,
right.
you know, they're pushing.
Right.
You know, women are pushing,
Yeah,
man.
oh,
Like,
yeah.
we need to look at that, man. We need to say, you know what? These women are becoming mayors. They're becoming presidents of university.
Right.
They're becoming athletic directors. They
Right.
are making a push.
Right. They
And
are.
we need to get behind that and support that, man. They say, you know what? Where do we fit in at?
Right.
Let me be a police chief.
I think one thing with women, they have the sense of urgency.
They do.
And that's
they
one
have
thing.
it now. Is they want their time right now.
One thing I see with you, and you say this like maybe every day, you know, opportunity doesn't go away, it goes to other people.
Bingo.
And
I do say it other day.
And that's
every
something,
day.
even that resonates with me because it's like Jamal, like you sitting on this idea or like you keep saying what you want to do, but just go ahead and do it. Like, because somebody is thinking of the same thing. Somebody wants the same scholarship.
Bingo.
Just like there's a kid in Norfolk that wants his scholarship. There's a kid in Roanoke that wants the same scholarship. You know, so that's the one saying that, you know, I definitely think resonates. And
Definitely.
I see you put that up all the time.
Yeah, opportunities don't go away. They just go to other people. And I think about that because, you know, I had to be a damn fool. I had to be out my freaking mind to go to the biggest, coldest country in the world.
That's right.
And develop college football there. I had to be crazy.
Right.
But it takes crazy people like that to be in the position I'm in now.
Right. Well, one thing we talked about, we can't pass down the known commodity, right? So you got to step to the left and, you know, develop your own.
Bingo.
I could have easily been an intern for ESPN. That's nothing. I could have been an intern. And no disrespect to all these people, Wavy. I worked for the Virginia Pilot. It's not hard at all.
Right.
The hardest thing I had to do was like, look, I can do the same thing those guys do. You know, I have the drive. Let me just go ahead and do it. Let me go ahead and do it.
Bingo. And I would say, man, like, you know, you motivated me. You know what I mean? Watching you do your thing, you know, that motivates me to keep pushing and keep going. You know, seeing some of the young entrepreneurs in our area, like a Deron Flood, watching some of the high school coaches just around the area that I grew up with build their program the way they want it. You know what I mean? That motivates me. You know what I mean? To know that, you know, they understand opportunities don't go away, it goes to other people. I'm not saying they took that saying to heart also, but I'm saying they got that urgency. I need to have that urgency too.
Right, yep.
You know, I need to have that exact same urgency, you know, the urgency Cam Chancellor had, you know, to get to the NFL, not only just get there, to be a Hall of Fame type player. You know what I mean?
NFL,
like, that's a different level that we didn't have in this area. We didn't have the hunger to be a Hall of Fame player. You know what I mean? It was just to get there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I would say, you know, just those little things motivate me. You know what I mean? Watching, like I said, I don't know why college coaches don't give props to high school coaches. You know what I mean? I love giving props. Watching them DeRee, you know, watching a Plummer, watching a coach, the success Coach Sawyers has had, watching the success Coach Cotton's had in high school, on the high school level. You know, that motivates me. Now, I'm not saying I take schemes and stuff from them. No, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying I take philosophies from them and stuff like that. But watching them build their program and saying, you know what, I'm going to take what I got and make it go as high as I wanted to go. That motivates me. That motivates me to do the same with my product.
Right. Even with you traveling so much, you've been in Russia, you've been everywhere pretty much in the world. How have you managed to keep your inroads in the Hampton Roads area in the 757?
I come home.
Yeah.
I come home and I show my face. I've never been on any superstar type of attitude, man. Like, I come home, I'm in the stands with the people. Right. You know, I'm conversing back and forth on social media with the people. Right. You know, I'm in the high school and I come home, you see me in the high schools. Right. Yep. You know, you don't see me just holding up a name of a player. Like, I'm literally in these high schools. You know, I'm in here. I'm friends with these coaches on Facebook. Right. You know, and I think sometimes that hurts you because, you know, they're not reaching out to you when they have a player on their team to get into college. You know what I mean? A few of them do, but not as much as I thought they would if they had the resources right there in their friend list. You know what I mean? Bingo. But at the same time, you know, and that's part of the reason. That's part maybe might because I am going to show up. Right. I am so accessible. You know what I mean?
Probably is because you're accessible. Yeah, it's probably the same thing with me. Like, you know, Larry, my guy, but Larry ain't responding to too many people. He's not accessible. Me, I will respond to all the negative, whatever you got to say.
Whatever. I'm accessible. I'm accessible. I never carried myself as being on a platform where I couldn't be reached. You know what I mean? You know, I could talk about recreation football days and stuff like that. I don't mind going back out there, and you know, and talking about it. You know what I mean? You're gonna see me in the middle schools. You're gonna see me everywhere. You know, and be like, well, he was home. You know what I mean? Like
the Legacy Bowl.
Yeah, I'm in the Legacy Bowl. I wasn't down there, you know, trying to have like a celebrity coach. I'm in the stands with the parents and
with
stuff.
The people,
with the parents and stuff. I'm talking to Coach giving him his props on the outstanding season. The Coach McCain. I'm, you know, in meeting some of the coaches I haven't met before. You know, I'm you know, I have a relationship with the coaches that coach in the game. Like a relationship with them. Like, you know, I don't mind going back and forth with them. You know, like, you know, people are joking about the Grammy reunion game. I'm not afraid to be the butt of the joke. You know, I don't think they can do that with a lot of people that's been as successful as I've been from this area. You know what I mean? They can't reach out to them and just crack a joke or, you know, reach out and say, hey, yo, Bobs, you know what I mean? And I'm going to respond. They know I'm going to respond. They know I'm that accessible. And guess what? They know I'm be that accessible no matter how high I go.
So you in the NFL, you still going to be accessible?
I'm not. That's not my goal.
That's not what's your goal?
Man, look,
you know what? That's a good question.
That's the thing. That's not my
goal. That's great.
The
NFL's
not for me. You know, FBS is not my lane. You know, my lane is mentoring young African American young men at HBCUs. You know what I mean? I think I could take a HBCU and be the FBS, you know, with the resources that they have right now. I'm not afraid to go say, hey, come visit my university. I'm going to put my culture and my tradition up against your TV deal. I'm gonna put it. I'm gonna go there. You understand what I'm saying? I'm gonna put that responsibility back in the parents' lap. You know, I'm gonna put that responsibility there because the truth is, it matters on your success after you graduate. That's what's important. Your experience while you're there is what matters. I don't want, don't come back to me after you done went there and got spanked, and then you want to come back to me when you realize grass wasn't green on the other side. And I'm not trying to make this as something as just saying you know, all the athletes need to go to HBCU. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying, the student athletes that want to come play for me, no matter where I'm at, VUL or any HBCU, come play for me. You're going to have the same exact opportunities that these kids are going to have at any FBS school in the country because I've already created that opportunity for you. I've already invested in you prior to you coming. I can't say the same for an FBS coach. I can say that he landed on that platform. I can't say he went through what I went through. I can't say he sat in that same seat you sat in. I did.
You think a lot of coaches could go through what you did with VUL your first year?
Of course not. I don't think they would do it. But the thing is, I'm willing to sit in the trenches with you. That's the relationship. That's the bond I can share with a student athlete. I'm willing to sit in these trenches with you for the next 4 years. I can't. That's one thing I can't. I love Butch Davis to death. I love John Bunny to death. I can't say they were willing to do that. I can't say they were willing to sit in the trenches with me at UNC. Because they didn't have to. They can go get anybody in the country. But here's the thing. I don't want anybody in the country. I want you. I want you.
Now,
I want you to want me, though, but I want you. I think that's important.
So you think you can, Eddie Robinson, you think that'll suit you if you ended up like Eddie Robinson?
Oh, man, look, if I can end up like somebody like legendary like him, man, you know, man, I could die today. I could die tomorrow. You understand what I'm saying? I don't need to be a Nick Saban. I don't need. Look at all the lives Eddie Robinson saved. Look at all the leaders and role models he produced. You know what I mean? Nick Saban's produced some great football players, and some of them have been some outstanding young men. I'm not going to throw them under the bus. I'm not going to throw them under the bus. That's low hanging fruit. I say, hey, you know, let's point out, you know, the guys that didn't. They've been in trouble, this, that, and the third, and they probably do the same with Eddie Robinson, but at the same time, you know, what he leans his hat on, it's a little different. You know what I mean? I think that's important, man. Like. We develop with families, man. We're trying to create family, generational wealth.
At a certain point,
that stuff has to be important.
At a certain point, a school like that is just pretty much comes down to wins and losses. I don't care about what you do for this kid when he get out. I don't care what you do for what's his name, Jalen Hurts when he graduates. Are we winning while Jalen Hurts is here?
See, that's the difference. I care about the type of man Jalen Hurts is going to be to his family. I care about the father he's going to be. I care about the man he's going to be in this community, and I care about the child that he's raising. You understand what I'm saying? That's the difference. You know, like I said, I believe we have that at VUL. We have that at Virginia University of Lynchburg. And that's why we're able to pull the recruits that people are like, how are you able to get these kids? We got D1 transfers.
Right.
Why we got that on the smallest campus in the country? Because they know what we're doing is different. They feel the love, they feel the mentorship, and they understand I genuinely care about them.
Right. You guys play Hampton last year.
Yeah.
Who's on the schedule this year? Hampton again, right?
Great, of course, man.
Hampton
I would
again.
say, man, we're going to start the season off with Middle Georgia State.
Okay.
That's going to be a good warm-up game for us. Then we're going to go ahead down to Merrimack College, Division I football program.
Okay.
Then we're going to head to Davidson, Division I football program. Then we got University of West Florida.
Okay.
They were ranked the number 1 Division II program in the country last year. Then we got Southeastern University down in Florida. Then we follow it up with Mississippi Valley State Division I program.
Yep.
Then we have Hampton University Division I program. Prairie View University Division I program.
Wow.
Southern University Division I program. And we're also right now we're talking to a few different schools, about a homecoming game in general or whatnot.
Okay.
We got a few different schools on the hook, and my thing is just to look, a lot of our games are away, but I want to put my kids on that platform. I think it's very important to have Virginia University of Lynchburg across the scoreboard from a Hampton University, from a Prairie View, from a Southern University.
Right.
That's branding. That's marketing our university. We're a small school, man. Like we can borrow one building from each one of those schools, and I would tell you that it'll be the biggest building on our campus. It'll be the best building on our campus.
Right.
But we love what we have here at VUL. We love the resources that we're blessed with. Like you say, you're faithful over a few, he'll bless you with more.
Right.
We're faithful over the few we got. We're not afraid to go into Hampton and punch them in the mouth.
You know what I really want to see y'all play though?
Who?
Two schools.
Go ahead.
Of course, my alma mater, Norfolk State,
All right.
and I want to see y'all play Women Married.
Women married.
I want to see those two.
I definitely, because it's home, I definitely want to see it. And just the coaches that I'll be across the sideline to, I really admire those guys a lot.
Yeah.
I admire Latrell Scott. I admire Coach London.
Right.
You know what I mean? And through my growth process, I've had the opportunity to speak to both of them. And I would say this about both of them. Through my growth process, when I was nothing, like nothing as a coach, they were the ones that actually took the time to give me 5 minutes of their ear.
Right.
You know what I mean? They were the ones that took the time to give me 5. I came out, I remember.
That's a lot.
That is huge, man. I remember
Right.
coming out to a Latrell Scott's practice during spring and just sitting in the stands taking notes.
Right.
You know what I mean? Watching him, watching his practices and stuff
Crazy.
like
and
that.
He's Trail's always open.
Yeah,
I mean, he invited me out a few times.
he comes to me. He comes to me after practice. First time I'm out there, he comes to me and said, "Anytime you want to come out here, man, you're more than welcome."
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
And that right there done a lot to me. You know what I mean? I said, I appreciate it. I introduced myself. I know who you are. You know what I mean?
Right.
And to me, it was like, wow, good. You know what I mean? And not only that, when I had a situation in the middle of the year, where, our team got a little altercation with Benedict or whatnot,
Right.
I was able to reach out to him for some mentorship. And he gave me some of the best advice I've ever gotten as a head coach.
Right.
You know what I mean? In the midst of that situation. You know what I mean?
Right.
And like I said, I can't say every head coach I've talked to has been like that. I would say Coach Prunty has been the same way.
Right.
He's been a great mentor to me.
Right.
And when I was trying to become a football coach, when Coach London was at UVA, he was at his peak. He was at his peak.
Right.
He gave me almost 20 minutes of his time in his office one-on-one, where I was able to tell him where I've been, what I accomplished, in Russia. This time all I did was Russia. And I told him I was going back, flying back out there tomorrow. You know what I mean? And for him to tell me, at the time, what you're doing, I've never heard anybody do it.
Right.
And I commend you.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? And at the time, you could think, oh, he's just telling me something. You know what I mean? But here's where you really see the man character. When I got the job at VUL, he sent me a message, told me congratulations.
Man, that's nice. So are you surprised to see what he did at Howard?
Not at all. Not at the least.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Like FCS is that's his thing. You know what I mean? Coach, he's won national championships in Richmond. You know what I mean? Like people forget about that.
Right.
So
he got a UVA.
Yeah, he's got it. He's got it.
Yeah,
Coach London got it, man.
Right.
And he's got the he's got that charisma, you know what I mean?
Right.
And he's a special guy, you know what I mean? He's leading a special program
it's
right
funny,
now.
it's like, it's not funny, but, I see a lot of him and you is, when people talk about the kind of person, like with Mike London, you always say that the good type of person he is, how he connects with people.
Right.
And that's never seen, disingenuine or anything like that. And it's probably, the same with you, because when I talk to the recruits that, that have committed to you, it's like, man, like Coach Rowan is a great guy, is that relationship is that something you'll just try to continue no matter what school and, how old you get?
Definitely, man. I mean, I even went as far as the 5-star that the only 5-star that Coach London has signed in his career. Mm-hmm. He's on my football staff.
Gotcha.
He's on my coaching staff. Yeah. And that's how much, because I know he went after the right kid. Like, he wasn't just going after any 5-star.
Right.
He went after Quante Moore. Like, I mean, a good kid. A great kid. Mm-hmm. Great kid. Right. And, I mean, better than football player, he was a great kid, great person. You know what I mean? Right. And the fact that Coach London went after him so hard, right? That shows me, the type of man he is, character guy he is,
right? Right. Where have you seen the growth in athletes? Because it's different when you're a player, you're playing against these guys, but when you come back as a coach, where have you seen the biggest difference in the athletes here?
I would say athletes are to me, I think they're much more athletic, as far as, they get much more training and, they're much more stronger and athletic and all that good stuff. Mm-hmm. I think they miss the details. Mm-hmm. They miss the details of what it's going to take for them to get to where they need to go. Okay. Yeah, everybody wants to get to the point where they sign a scholarship. Like I said, don't have your paradise too soon. Mm-hmm. Everybody wants their paradise at the signing day. Yeah. You know what I mean? They want their paradise, through the likes on Twitter, on Facebook and stuff like that. I think, the details is missing. Okay. You know what I mean? The details is missing in regards to the little conversation I had with my dad to say, you know what? That ain't an offer, son.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
That ain't an offer.
But so is it social media more now that's kind of, I ain't gonna say messing stuff up, but
I wouldn't say social media is messing stuff up. I'm just saying people want their paradise too soon. Right. People want their paradise too soon, and the truth is, you got a lot more work to do. Even if you are that 5-star athlete, you got to get to where you got to get to and freaking produce. Yeah, yeah. You got to earn that scholarship.
That scholarship ain't 4 years.
Nah, it's 1 year renewed. That's what Butch Davis said.
Right.
It's 1 year renewed. Right. He got a 5-year deal.
That's you ain't gonna outlive me.
That's what he said. he said, you know what? He said, I'm angling for extension after next season. So we were like, all right,
Yeah, that's real. That's real talk, though, man. And I agree. I think even I talked to my interns about this. I think it's like you guys want to be me, but you don't want to work like I did to become me. I wasn't on Twitter. When I first started, I wasn't on Twitter a lot. I was putting out probably 2-3 articles a day, probably 15, 20 a week.
Bingo.
But my interns, they'd put out one article and just chill.
They chill.
I'm like, what are you doing? You can't.
They don't understand your grind. They don't understand your grind. Like, I watched you, man.
Right.
I watched you, man. To the point where, you called me when I was in Russia. And we had to have like a debriefing, man. Yeah. We was on the phone for like almost 2.5 hours just talking about what we done. Like, look, here's what we done.
And it's real. Like, it was conversations like that.
And the great thing is we got to the point together where, we were able to help each other. Like, you did an article on me that went international. You know what I mean? It went to international. And I guess that was your first international article also.
And people heard what you was doing.
And it's still circulating. It's still circulating to this day. You know what I mean? Crazy. Like, his article's still circulating to this day, Crazy. And it's like,
even about what you eating right now, all that going out to eat stuff, man. We talk.
All that stuff is still circulating.
We still talking about, we give each other advice on a personal level. Before you got a job at VUL, you called me. It's like,
definitely.
Yeah, what should I do?
Oh my God.
Nah, look, we gotta go be real. You can tell it.
Tell the story. All right. So look, I had a few interviews lined up after I got offered the VUL job. Mm-hmm. So, I called Jamal. I said, hey, I got offered the VUL job. He was excited. He said, hey, did you take it? I said, nah. I told him I'm going to go interview for a few other jobs and I'll come back and see, and go from there. It got real quiet on the phone. It's true story. True story. It got so quiet. It got concerning. It got quiet. And I was like, and he said, calm as on the way, said, hey, bro, I think you need to take that job. I said, you know what, bro, I'm going to call you right back.
Hey, it was so funny. The funny thing was, because I think you knew what I was thinking. Yeah, I knew what you was thinking.
I knew what he was thinking. I knew exactly what he was thinking. And I'm thinking in his head, he thinking, bro, like you have worked to this, like you right. here, and now you're saying no.
Right.
Like, what is wrong with you?
Right.
Like I'm sitting there hearing him say it, what about to say it, and then he calmly just kept all that inside and said, bro, I think you need to take that job. Yeah. He just said it very calmly.
Like, he was like, he ain't saying, I'm going to think about it. He said, I'm going to call you back.
I'm going to call you right back.
I'm going to call you back.
I wouldn't call the athletic director immediately and took the job.
He called me back maybe about an hour later. Yeah, so he was like, I took the job, bro. I was like, yeah, you better take the job.
Boy. We laughed so hard after that, man. Yeah. I called him back, boy. We laughed. I said, bro, it was that silence. Yep. That silence was like deadly, man. It was like, everything was going. He was excited. Yeah, they offered me the job. He's like, hold on. Did you take the job? I said, nah, man, I'm going to interview. He's like,
you want to interview with who? No, sir, you about to take that job.
He's like, no, now, keep in mind, he knows who I'm interviewing with. Yeah, he didn't care. Yep. He didn't care. He like, take the job. You know what I mean? Thank God I did, man. Best thing that ever happened to me.
Yeah, man, because I always think, like, I think
one
that was
the best things ever
I think that was a good situation for you because that's what you wanted. Like, you wanted your own program. You wanted, even if it's the program that's lost 4 years in a row, that's your program. Right. Once you put your imprint on it, I knew what it would become because I've talked to you. I've seen things you've done. Like, I knew, like, that's all he needed was opportunity. You're going to get the kids in there. And it worked out perfectly. I'm just glad you ain't going that interview because
I know.
I know VUL people there. They're glad.
Yeah, I'm glad. Yeah, I'm glad. Well, you know what? That's where I want. That's where I needed to be. You know. Yeah. After I called you back and said I'm gonna take it. I went and got my wife. Mm-hmm. She came down there and when she checked out the school. Mm-hmm. And to be honest, I honestly thought, and this is how important a support wife is. You know, I honestly thought that she was gonna be like, oh no, this ain't what you told me. This ain't what you was telling me about when we were talking about, the life of being a college football coach. Right. She could have easily said that. But man, she was like, oh my God. Yeah. She was telling me about the potential. Oh my God, this reminds me of my old church my grandma used to go to. Like, I was like, wow, I'm going to use that as a recruiting slogan. You know what I mean? She, like, the way she embraced the building, the way she embraced the VUL, showed me like, man, she's ready for her role. Mm-hmm. What about me? You know what I mean?
I think with a school like that, just when I went to St. Paul's, like the community is the community atmosphere that really gets you. Like, cause the school was a school. It wasn't bad, but once you learn the people, the people that work at the one store there, and the librarian at the, it just. You can't go anywhere.
Those relationships matters, man. Yeah. Those relationships matter. Yeah. Those relationships
Some
matter.
of my friends now, some of my closest friends I went to St. Paul's with. Right. And that's closer than people I live in Norfolk with. You know what I'm saying? So I agree completely now. Like I said, I knew just knowing you that like this was a great situation for you.
Definitely, man.
Can you discuss any of the kids you signed from here?
Yeah, man. Yeah. I would say we signed a few guys. I would group them up together. You know what I mean? We signed a large group of guys from Booker T.
Right.
You know what I mean? And, I'm very proud of that because, those are just guys taking advantage of their opportunity. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? I think the most important thing is player development. It doesn't necessarily have to be, always about, finding the best ready to go talent. Mm-hmm. Sometimes it's about what I can develop this young man with his work ethic, him having good character, what I can make him into. Because I've seen it. I've seen it at the highest level. Right. I've seen a walk-on become a starter in the ACC. So, I mean, come on, man. Like
you seen guys switch. Quan Sturdivant was a 2-star.
Yeah, he's a quarterback. Yeah. Get ready to go to Florida as a quarterback to be the next Tim Tebow. Right. And Butch Davis convinced him to come be a linebacker. Right. You know what I mean? Like I've seen it's all about player development, and then guess what? The player has a lot to do with that. Right. If he wants to work at it and you're recruiting kids that want to get better, that's in love with the grind, and guess what? They're going to develop into the player that they want to be and that you want them to be. Right. And it's easier that way. I want to talk. I would love to talk about the kids that I have that's currently there, that's doing great in the classroom. You know what I mean? That's doing great things. I would take. I have a kid named Rail Harrison from Maury High School.
Yep.
Darrell Harrison, Maury High School.
Yep.
Nobody in the country wanted this kid. You know, he spoke during our. I didn't even know this prior. He spoke to our little event we had on campus when we had kids on campus. Our open house. He spoke at our open house event, and this is a young man. When I found, he's from Park Place. You know, when I found him, you know, he told me a GPA. GPA was, I'm not going to say what it was, but it was well below a 2.0 GPA. And this was a fast track program, I'm sure also.
Okay.
And, you know, at the time, you know, he didn't have an SAT score. You know, I took a chance on him. I told him, you know, gonna make me some promises. You know, first things first is that you're going to want to be a man. You're going to let everything go around you. Everything that's around you that you feel like can hold you back, you're going to let that go and leave that right there in Norfolk and Park Place. You know, and this kid has a 4.0 GPA at my university right now.
That's good.
4.0 GPA. I'm talking about this is May. I mean, this is it's about to be end of the school year. You know what I mean? And he has a 4.0 GPA.
And I don't care what school you go to. That's tough.
I mean, like I said, it just wasn't about him not being smart enough. It was about the push.
Right.
It's about the fact that Coach Rome is going to be there, making sure, hey, why you ain't go to class? You know what I mean? Like it ain't gonna be no nice conversation.
Right.
I'm going straight for the heart. I'm telling you.
Coming as that father figure.
Nah, I'm coming straight for your heart.
Right.
Fool, you done told your mama that you love her. You telling me that you told her that you're going to make a difference, that you're going to change the situation. Is that all these lies you told her? You claim you love football, right? Going to class is part of what you're going to need to be the man, to get on that football field. You claim you love it. I would hate to see you do something you don't like go to work for a living. I would hate to see you be. I hit him right in the heart. I would hate to see the type of man you got to be if you got to go out there and do something you hate to do for a living.
Right.
I'm trying to give you opportunity to do something you love to do for a living, and change your family life.
Right. You BSing with that.
Yeah, you BSing with that. So I hit him right in the daggone heart. Yeah. I don't mind going there, and I think a lot of coaches are afraid to go there because they're afraid they're going to lose a kid. I'm not afraid to lose a kid or something like that. Yeah. Because you know what? Even when he does do wrong or when he in that worst situation, my words are going to creep up on him. I got a kid at John C. Smith right now. Yeah. Right now. Now he's not playing ball right now. He reached out to me and he said, only thing he could think of, coach, is opportunities don't go away, they go to other people. Yep. He said the whole time he's been at John C. Smith, that's the only thing that's been ringing in his mind since he had me at Fast Track.
Yeah. You know what's funny? I went to Lake Tyler my last year, but I didn't play for Coach Sawyer. Right. But I always remember this saying, nothing is ever as good as it seems. Nothing's ever as bad as it seems. Somewhere in the middle lies reality. Right. I remember that to this 32 years old. And I probably say that to myself probably every day just to keep myself even
Sawyer
says
that a lot, by the way.
He says it a lot. And if you're one of his students in his class, you hear it. One of his athletes, you hear it. But that's something that's always stuck with me. I never get too high. I don't get too low. It is what it is. Like, you know, that's just where I am. So, like you said earlier, when you talked about just staying at a HBCU, that's the place for you.
Yeah, that's for me. I think that's for me.
Yeah.
I feel it. Yeah. That's where I'm at right now. You know, I had my experience. And let's just not get it twisted. I love my experience at the PWI. You know what I mean? I met my wife at the PWI. You know what I mean? My wife's a Carolina graduate. Okay. You know what I mean? I love my alma mater. I love being a part of the Carolina family. You know what I mean? But what outweighs my love is my love for my community, my love for, you know, young men trying to better themselves. Right. You know, that right there in my calling. You know, I love my calling. You know what I mean? That love right there, you know, outweighs, you know, my love for my university. You know what I mean? Now, you know, I commend any young man that wants to go there. Like, you know, I got a few young men that I know personally that committed there, and one of them plan on wearing my jersey number. You know what I mean? I'm honored, and that's honored. I'm honored by that. I'm honored. I'm honored. You understand what I'm saying? I'm honored by that. You know what I mean? But at the same time, you know, I also know that that's the fit for him. You know what I mean? There's a lot of other young men out there that, you know, they need a guy like me. You know, they need a guy like me that's gonna assure that they, not necessarily, I can't assure you gotta want it, but at the same time, they want their life success as bad as they want it. You know what I mean? They want to see their kids eat just as bad as they want to see their kids eat. Okay. Now you're not gonna find that everywhere. You're not gonna find that genuinely in a lot of coaches in America because, you know, maybe they didn't need that. And they need that fuel and that fire to motivate them to get to that point where they at. You know, that motivation could be money. That motivation could be a mentorship in a different area.
Yeah.
My mentorship is in I'm coming from a different angle. You know what I mean? That's what motivates me to be the head coach I am.
Do you think you would be that way if you didn't come from Norfolk, from Park Place? Well, you know.
I don't think VUL Heights, Park Place.
VUL Heights. Yeah, I'm sorry.
No, I got to throw in both because both of them did mold me to who I am today. Facts. You know what I mean?
Right.
You know, the Colonial Boys and Girls Club, you know, spending my time in Park Place, you know, with my friends and stuff with the Park Place Crusaders and all that stuff like that. Playing basketball at Park Place Rec Center and stuff like that, you know, and being in VUL Heights with those guys who gave me the type of protection that I needed. Mm-hmm. You know, I needed where I didn't have to act hard. I didn't have to do all that stuff.
Focus on sport.
Yeah, I just focused on sport. I didn't have to be the hard guy. I didn't have to do that. I have guys that weren't very nice that was around me. You understand what I'm saying? Like, I didn't have to do that. Right. You know what I mean?
Right.
And they made sure that, and like I said, but at the same time, they still allow me to do my thing right now. You know what I mean? They still allow, they understand the platform I'm home, but here's the thing. I still show them love. When I come home, I go to these 7-Elevens. Right. I'm still in the 7-Eleven. They still the same people. I'm dapping them. I'm hugging them. I'm not superstar.
Bow tie and all.
Bow tie and all. Man, I'm here. I'm here. And you know what? And guess what else they know? I'm going to recruit their kid.
Yep.
You understand what I'm saying?
And they know what you're saying is real.
It's
real.
They
know you.
It's real.
Right.
That's what I'm saying.
You.
I'm going. Ain't no. I'm recruiting from the very same community they grew up in. And this is what we always begged for. This is what we always wanted. You know. It hurt me to my heart, you know, being at Granby High School and seeing guys that had the talent. Now I go off to school. So you know what? Hey, I'm going to create a situation where there's no more excuse to that. You know, now, you know, I got parents reaching out to me. You know, they don't need, I'm so accessible now. They can go outside their head football coach and the parents can reach directly out to me and we can go from there because they know I'm that real. They said, man, I heard, you know, this, that, and the third. And like I said, word of mouth is just as important as social media. And I pride myself on making sure word of mouth that my reputation is good. No one has any, I hope no one has anything bad to say about me. You know what I mean? Right. I hope they say I'm always been a respectable young man. I hope they say I've always showed up all the engagements that I've asked to show up to. And I hope they know I've done it for free. I'm not charging folks. I'm here.
Right.
You know what I mean? I didn't have the resources that everyone had. You know what I mean? But I made sure my best resource is being there for the kids.
It was something you alluded to a little bit earlier, but how important is family to you?
Everything to me. It's everything to me. You know, my wife, starting with my wife, you know what I mean? She breathes that air I need to keep me going every day. You know, she's the one to wipe the tears when things do get hard. You know what I mean? And, you know, the life that I'm trying to create for my children, the foundation and the legacy I'm trying to create for them. Right. You know what I mean? The legacy that my father and my mother created for me. You know what I mean? And my sisters, you know what I mean? I think that's important. A lot of people don't understand, you know, and, you know, I think it's important with my platform to share this also. You know, my sisters, you know, they grew up in special education. You know what I mean? You know, stuff that people, my sister about to close on her second house. Nice. You understand what I'm saying? Like, you know, my sister winning that life. She's killing it in life. Nice. You understand what I'm saying? Cause my mom and my dad took pride in making sure they was prepared for life. You know what I mean? My sisters know how to go out there and interview for a job and get great paying jobs and raise a family. You know what I mean? My sisters are married. You know, they have they have a family, they're raising a family, and, you know, I look at them and look at what they overcame, and that motivates me. You know what I mean? They didn't allow the jokes that some of those kids made towards them. Yeah. You know what I mean?
They hold them back?
In the past, hold them back. You know, I remember being at a Maury High School game, going to see Maury play, and I was like it's maybe seventh grade or something like that, and literally fighting Joseph of Park Place for talking shit about my sisters, you know, on site. Yeah. My sister told me that he'd been talking. I showed up to the game with crutches and let's go. Seventh grade, let's roll. Right. But here's the thing. The people from Park Place will always respect me for that because they knew I was coming. You understand? They knew I was going to show up. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And anybody that knows me knew I was always going to show up for my sisters. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And my sisters always been bigger support. One of my biggest fans. So family is very important. You know, that Rome name is everything to us. You know, my cousin Tori, he owns 757 Heating and Cooling. You know, a lot of people don't know that. He owns it. Wow. He's the owner of it. You understand what I'm saying?
I see that all the time in the truck.
He owns it. He's the owner. You know what I mean? He owns it. My, you know, I have family members that's the president at Fisk University.
Okay.
You know, he is the president. Dr. Kevin Rome, he's the president. You know what I mean? He's one of my mentors. You know what I mean? You know, I have, you know, my dad owns his own construction business. You know, I got family members that live, and the most important things, you know, my grandfather came from Georgia. You know, my grandfather came from Georgia and came to Virginia because he heard there was some work up here.
Okay.
And, you know, he was part of people that helped build up this city. You understand what I'm saying? Build up this area. A whole, you know, it was a lot of plaster work up here. And he taught his brothers and sisters trades and stuff like that. Okay. And that kind of, you know, that's support to me, man.
Got you.
Family's everything.
Well, you already answered this question.
Yeah.
Every coach doesn't have NFL aspirations.
Right.
You don't think so?
Nah, I mean, it's not for me.
I heard now, you know, we had a basketball coach. We had a high school coach up here, basketball, and he was like, I don't want to go to the NBA. He was just like, it's different. You know, it's like, even college, he was like, he doesn't want to be a college coach. It's like, it's different.
Right.
You know, he just enjoy having fun. With the AAF, did you expect that to be a long lasting league, or, you know, did you kind of expect what happened?
I got to be truthful. I mean, just to be honest, I didn't. And not because by no means am I hating or nothing like that. It's just because I've been there. Right. You know, I've been there with the United Football League. Yeah. You know, I've been there. So I've been, you know, the whole time when everybody was cheering and rooting, you know, I won't get paid. Yeah. You know what I mean? Right. Some games, some weeks, some games we won't flat out get paid. Wow. And they were paying us, you know, months later. You know what I mean? Right. So I understood what was probably going on behind closed doors. And I knew they were keeping their promises and paying all those coaches and those players and those support staff folks, that eventually that, you know, I mean, football is a very expensive sport.
Yeah, absolutely.
Very expensive. You know, to run a league is, you know, and it's not necessarily the actual salaries of the actual players and the coaches. It's that workers' comp, man. Like, you know, players get injured, you got to pay that guy. You got to pay for the surgery, and you got to keep paying his salary for however long his injury lasts.
Yeah, that's a lot.
You know, that overhead, like, understand how many players get injured through the course of a season. You're putting like 10, and especially guys that just getting back in the flow of things. Like, these guys ain't been playing football every year. Some of these guys have had skipped last year because they was out the league or whatever the case may be. So soft muscle tissues, you know, ACL tears. It's a year of pay that this league is going to have to pay out of these people.
They ain't trying to do that.
I mean, they're going to have
that money in the reserves.
Yeah.
But when you hear the stories coming out now that guys didn't, hotel rooms not paid for, some of the guys that on their own with the surgeries, it's kind of ridiculous. But funding is a big thing.
Funding is a big thing. You know,
it's a real thing.
It is a real thing. Like I said, I remember when I was going through this situation, you know. Yeah. But I would say they have a much bigger platform to talk about it now than we had. You know what I mean? We only had the Virginia Pilot, and to be honest, you know, because there wasn't many pro professional leagues to talk, you know, to play in, you know, you weren't going to talk about the only league that could cut you a maybe check.
That's right.
You know what I mean? Because those checks were good when they did come. You know what I mean? Yeah. I wanted my money when it did come. Right. You know what I mean?
So do you think that's the reason why it won't be a minor league, because the NFL just doesn't want the competition?
They got their minor league.
What's their minor league?
NCAA.
And it's free.
It is free. they got their minor league, man. They got their minor league. You know what I mean? I think the Arena League and the Indoor Football League are doing great things by just attacking the small market. You know what I mean? I think if another professional league is going to start, it's not going to start with TV contracts and stuff like that. It's going to have to be very organic, you know, semi-pro type.
Right. But
Sharks.
Do we need?
They have to roll Sharks type deal.
And then that's what I was about to say. Do you need TV contracts starting off? You need loyal fans. I think,
especially if you're paying for them. Right. And I knew that. I knew they were paying the NFL Network and some of the companies that was broadcasting their games. I knew they were paying them out of pocket. So to me, you know, you're shooting yourself in the foot. Same thing the UFL did with Verse TV, which is what CBS Sports now. Right. You know what I mean? Like that's what
you're really paying your competitors. You're really paying your competitors. If you're paying the NFL Network, you're paying your competitors. How long are they going to let you last if they're your competitor?
Well, I would say they did give them that legitimacy, but they're not going to cut them a check and say they're going to be our minor league team. They tried that with NFL Europe. It didn't work.
Right.
And I would say, you know, those are the same teams that's over there that I played for whenever I was over there. You know what I mean? And I say a good thing the NFL is doing, you know, they're on a bigger and larger fish. They're trying to expand this thing internationally. You know what I mean? Right. They won't admit it. I don't think they would ever admit it, but I think they've seen what the work I've done over there. You know what I mean? And because next thing you know, Larry Fitzgerald's popping up in Russia.
Say, what, Tim Tebow?
Paid him $1 million to come over there and play against me. You know what I mean? But Larry Fitzgerald, you know, popped up in Russia to do his master class. Right. Then you got Marshawn Lynch going over there to Germany and stuff like that. Right. So NFL started sending these guys internationally because they seen the impact, the small impact that I was the first. Right. You know what I mean? Like I was the first to go over there and, you know, not say not to say, well, I'm too good for that. No, I was over there, jumped right in the fire. And then they say, you know what? We want to expand this thing. Let's send the NFL players over there. They're going to overdrown the guy that's over there making the most noise. And that's pretty much what happened. But that wasn't my end goal.
Right. Because now you see they say if they expand anymore, it's going to be an international team. I think they said Mexico City or, you know, they're going to expand somewhere. London. There might be a team
Toronto,
in London. Right. There'll be somewhere. So you're right. And the same with the NBA. The NBA, I remember there was somebody doing camps in Senegal, and people was like, you know, they try to make it seem like Senegal was so bad, but guess what? The NBA is opening an academy in Senegal in 2020.
Bingo.
That's what the big companies do.
Bingo.
So what's anybody want to find anything about VUL? What can they look on social media or webpage or whatever?
Oh man, our resources are very slim. You know what I mean? If you want to know about VUL, come find me.
Right.
Come find me.
Right.
I'm always preaching and pumping VUL. You know, my whole platform is VUL.
Hey, VUL, get this man a raise. Let me look at it. Get this man a raise. This man is VUL.
No.
Let me look at this camp. All the camp. Get that man a raise. He is VUL.
I can't say I'm all VUL. I'm not.
No, you are, man. You got to be humble.
No, I'm not being humble, man. I'm telling you.
Well, your wife, she the other hand.
No. You got some great, man. Look, man, I got some great support behind me, man. You know, with my coaching staff and with my administration, man. With Dr. Franklin and Jason Rondu, man, like the support that they give me as a head football coach and the league where they give me to do my thing, like, you know, that right there. Dr. Franklin's been there 30 years, so, you know, and able to, in order to give someone that type of, you know, leeway, that to give that type, you know, that means something. That means something, you know, and she did that. Right. And I would say she's out there at the recruiting seminar out there. Like she's putting in the work like I'm putting in. She's doing the same exact work I'm doing. Right. Her and her COO. So it's not like, you know, I would say like they're putting in the work and eventually, you know, my time will come. Right. You know, my time is going to come, you know. I you know, my thing is this, you know, I don't care what you pay me, you know. This is who I am. I'm gonna give you everything I got.
Gotcha. What you listening to before the game? What kind of music?
Truthfully?
Yeah.
All right, truthfully, man. Like, I'll be honest, you know, truthfully. No, of course not. Of course not. Man, I listen to some of everything. Sometimes I throw in some gospel. Okay. You know, I throw in the gospel, you know what I mean? To understand where I came from and where I came from, you know, how far I've came, you know, since I started this walk. I also throw in some old school, man, like truth, some spinners, bro. I throw in some spinners too.
For real?
Oh Lord, seriously. And the reason why, man, because as a head coach, I gotta be calm among all this Mr. Chaos. You know what I mean? So I throw in some spinners. I throw in some Marvin Gaye. I throw in, you know,
Jackson 5.
Yeah, I throw in a little Jackson 5. You know what I mean? Some Temptations. I throw in, but then, you know, then at the same time, I listen to some Jay-Z. Yeah. I listen to some Pusha T. Yeah. You know what I mean? This is some of the newer artists, you know, your little pumps and, you know, stuff. I've heard it in passing, you know, I'm rocking, you know, I don't listen to any of his music, the baby, but I'm rocking with him as a person.
Yeah, respect
the
movement.
I respect the movement. You understand what I'm saying? So here's the thing, like, I don't have to necessarily like the music that these kids are pushing out. But the movement, I can definitely respect, like, you know, the way they run their movement, their little business and stuff like their entrepreneurship. Yeah. I can definitely respect.
And speaking of that, look, we got to shout out Nipsey, man. Oh, you know, rest in peace of Nipsey, man.
Definitely.
That was a big one.
Definitely. Like I said, and I wasn't a very big fan of his music, but what he stood for and the things he was doing, I was a bigger fan than that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Than that. You know what I mean? I was a bigger fan of that.
I always tell people, I said, man, it wouldn't be no I-64 Sports without Nipsey. I talk to you a lot, but that victory lap like every single day. See, people don't realize I-60 Sports has only been around for 5.5 months.
Duh, right.
5.5 months. That's it.
It feels like it's
5.5. It seemed like forever, right?
Right.
5.5 months, man. I got 1,000 likes on Facebook, and I only know that because I looked at Facebook today, and it was like your anniversary, whatever is about to, your 6-month anniversary is about to come up. So, but it's like same thing. Just talking to you, listening to that. It's just. That entrepreneurship, man. Well,
I would say even somebody like a Pusha T.
Yeah.
And I would take it all the way back. I'm not talking about Pusha T he is now. I'm taking it back to the Clips days. You know what I mean? When he was transitioning from that situation, the label situation, like he was saying he was the best then.
Facts.
You understand what I'm saying? Like, but nobody was listening. I was listening. You know what I mean? And I was like, this dude think he the best. He was going at the throne then. Nobody was listening. I feel like I'm in that same position.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, no, you don't got to listen to me. You're going to hear me.
I think everybody
you're going to hear me when
I think they hear you coming.
When I baptize.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? When I baptize Drake. You understand what I'm saying?
They're going to hear you.
You'll hear me there. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
When the whole world will hear me there when I baptize Drake. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah. You can't deny that.
I can't deny it. You understand? You can't deny it then. You understand what I'm saying? Right. But I seen him say he was the best when he only had 200 views on his videos on YouTube.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
When he was pumping the We Got It for Cheap mixtape, and he was transitioning through his whole thing. Like, I was following him then. I was his biggest, one of his biggest cheerleaders then.
Yeah.
When people were calling me crazy. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And I was saying that he gonna be the best. He gonna be the, when he was going.
Hey man, I bet Pusha was from ATL. These 757 people would love him.
Definitely.
Because they love out of towners.
Bingo. I was saying he was gonna be the best when he first started his situation again with Lil Wayne.
Yep.
You know what I mean? When Lil Wayne was a monster eating up everything, I was saying Pusha's gonna be the best. He's the best. You know what I mean? And it's not necessarily to me. It means something different, man. I just see the influence. Like people want to not talk about the influence, man. I was there in them cafeterias when they were beating on them tables to the grinding beat. I was there. I was there when y'all was out here.
Nobody can make that noise.
I was there when you guys was out here starting y'all rap groups and running around Grammy.
That's right.
Thinking y'all gonna be next. You know what I mean? They gave you your feeling to believe you was next, and guess what? So for some of y'all, it led to entrepreneurship. You understand what I'm saying? Some of y'all led to entrepreneurship, but some of y'all, it led to other things. And I can respect that. I can respect the rap. I was listening to y'all music.
Listen,
y'all were
Big
pumping
Steve,
y'all.
look, Big Steve. We talked about Steve before. We talked about Big Steve before.
I respect Big Steve. I definitely respect Mama Steve too. I respect Mama Johnson too. And Shelton and what he's doing with his movies and stuff like that.
I never thought Shelton would be a writer.
Shelton was a very smart guy.
Right.
Very smart guy, man. To be honest, I hung out with Shelton in high school.
Okay.
You know what I mean? I hung out with Shelton in high school. And back then, he was listening to old school back then. Me and Shelton used to hang out all the time.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Different. Yeah,
and me and him, and we both have done our things in life, man. Like he's done some special things with Obama. I can't speak about, you know what I mean? Yeah. But at the same time, you know what I mean? He's also, he's doing great things now. And I remember him calling me at his craziest times. You know what I mean? Like at his craziest time. That's how I know that me and him are still close. You know what I mean? Yeah. At his craziest times, when he first got married, when him and his wife was moving in together, he called me on the first day because it was the first time moving in, living with his wife. You know what I mean? He like, man, I'm about to go crazy. I'm like, boy.
He probably had all the boxes on his back.
I'm like, Shelton. I remember that, but just watching Steve, that motivated me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That motivated me, man. That motivated me to keep pushing and doing the things because, I seen him take a song and make a business out of it.
Made a whole movement out of it.
Made a whole movement and business out of it. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And that right there, that can go all the way back to grinding.
Yeah.
They took one song and made a movement out of it. You know what I mean? And it changed the course of hip hop. It changed the course of a lot of people's lives in our area, even though we don't want to respect it or not. I respect the fact that he seeked out for real and got up with for real and made it happen. I respect that.
Right.
I respect the fact that, he kept going when people weren't listening. You know what I mean? That's the same thing I had to do. I don't feel like people were listening when I was in Russia. So I said, you know what? I don't feel like people won't listen. I'm going to go to the biggest country in the world and yell as loud as I can. Somebody going to hear me.
Somebody hear you.
Somebody going to hear me.
Yeah.
Oh, you can't hear me from that? Okay. Hell, just give me a team. Give me a team. What can I find one?
Shake the tree.
Club football.
Something going to fall.
Club football.
Yeah.
Give me a team.
Yep.
Club football. I'm going to make it something.
But look at club sports now. Now you have esports. So you had club football. Now you have esports bringing in students.
Yeah. And people, I mean, I'll be honest, man. Like, you know, I don't think I'll ever get the props that I deserve with that.
Nah.
You know what I mean?
We never do.
I would never.
We never
But
do.
The truth is, you know, people asking me, what the heck is club sports? Like, people were literally asking me. I didn't invent club sport. No, I did not. But I did figure out a way where I understood if I turn it into something and I recruit student athletes, that Carolina wasn't going to be like, it's something I'm not going to support it. They're going to support a program that's bringing in 40 student athletes to their program, paying full tuition. They're going to support that. And I knew that was a great angle. And I knew kids who were going to Carolina that still love football that wasn't ready for varsity. Understand, because we were going through our sanctions at the time, it was a good way to get some of our walk-ons to the varsity because they needed them. They needed them up there.
Yep.
And guess what? Me and Coach Fedora had a plan where in order for you to walk on our varsity program, you had to come through the club program. So that right there gave me some legitimacy in what I was doing,
Right.
you know, and gave me a little notch under gave me some confidence to take club football serious. I took it serious even when people were joking.
Right.
What is club? What is club? Yeah, now what is prep?
Yeah.
Club.
Yep. Same thing.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
Apprentice played in my club football, the club football league I played in at UNC. Apprentice won a national championship off of.
Right. Gotcha. Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
They won a national championship. You know,
club football.
Much respect to Coach over there also,
no doubt.
and Coach Allen.
Because we love bringing all the titles back home. That's one thing we love doing.
Much respect to
All
Coach
of
Porter, all those guys over there.
That's a fact.
You know what I mean? But I was doing club. I introduced club football to that situation. You know what I mean? And that's because it's what I had. I said, you know, I explained. I said, Coppin State is doing it. Middle Georgia State is doing it.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
We need this. Right. It's a need for this at every university, you know. And think about, you know, if this is for example, take a good successful program like a Norfolk State basketball program, right? Let's say, for example, like you said, they got kids that not meeting the NCAA requirements,
right?
But they need some games. They meet the school requirements,
right?
They can get into school.
Right.
You can get them under your tutoring program, all this good stuff.
Yep.
Why wouldn't you give that kid the same resources you're giving your student athletes and have them and be able to pluck them from your walk-ons?
Right.
You understand what I'm saying?
Right. When he's ready.
He didn't do enough to earn a scholarship. That's one thing.
Right.
But guess what? We got regular students going to school every day. That's what we got to start opening our minds to.
Yeah.
He just didn't earn enough money to earn a scholarship.
Right.
But he could possibly earn enough money to go to school.
Yeah. I mean, Norfolk State now.
You know what I mean?
Kate Chambers over there. So you're right. You're right. I think it's just looking at it the way we look at it. That's all.
Oh, much respect to him, man. He motivates me too, man.
For real?
What he's done with the program, man.
Yeah.
Winning the MEAC and stuff like that. You know, there's people pointing fingers. People wanting his job. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's people that wanted his job, and you know, when his back was against the wall, he react.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He reacted.
That's that New York in him.
Yeah, when his back was against the wall, he reacted. You know,
That's
much respect for that.
All right, before we get out of here, make sure give me your Twitter, Instagram, or anything that people can find you at least one more time.
Man, that's a bad thing. I don't know my Twitter name. I'm sorry, guys. It's crazy.
But they look you on Twitter.
I'm on Twitter. I think one of them was Bobby Rome 757. Look, the thing is, I didn't get into this stuff like that until I needed to start telling my story. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I'm still kind of behind the wave on it. Especially on Twitter. I'm behind the wave.
You're doing a great job.
I'm behind the wave, but like you say, you know, Facebook is my main social media thing I usually use, but I do have an Instagram, I have a Twitter, I have a LinkedIn, you know, I have everything. And another thing, I encourage my seniors to start their LinkedIn page as a senior.
Yep.
Because I want to show them the benefits of having, you know, doing their own, you know, search process. Scouts, add some scouts to your LinkedIn page and start selling yourself to these guys.
It's kind of like the recruiting process all over again.
You love football, right? So sell yourself to an NFL scout.
Yeah.
Now, when you depend on it, you need to sell yourself to Coca-Cola, Ron Stott, these corporate America companies. That's not an NFL scout. That's a regular person.
Right.
You got a better chance of being able to make that happen.
That's a good one.
Because you did very good. Because you loved it. You put the passion in it.
Right.
When you were doing it for football.
Mm-hmm.
Now you're gonna put the passion back in because your family depends on it now,
Mm-hmm.
and it's already set up for you. Just change some things around.
Gotcha.
And guess what? Now you're able to go out there and employ you.
Gotcha.
That's it.
All right, Coach Ron. Well, thanks for joining us. We'll definitely have you again.
I appreciate you having me, man. Like I said, man, I'm blessed to be on this platform. I just thank you, man. The things you guys are doing, man, I'm just honored for real.
No problem. We're blessed to have you.
Thank you, man. Thank you.